First at 6, a Maine homeowner out tens of thousands of dollars after hiring a contractor who she says never finished the job.
And she is far from alone. The I-Team found dozens of complaints and lawsuits filed against this same contractor. Dan
Lamparello investigates how Maine's lack of oversight leaves homeowners vulnerable and the push to create new rules to protect them.
It's frustrating and it's disappointing.
Cindy Sear thought she'd finally found a contractor to transform her home.
We had had that on our mind for a long time and didn't really find anybody that we were ready to pay a lot of money to. So I had seen an ad on Facebook.
From there, she says things moved pretty quickly. The contractor, Tim Galvez, came a few days later, gave her an estimate for adding new clapboard, window trim, and paint to the front and back of the house.
We can get started right away and we can have this done in 3 weeks. Like, okay, fantastic, because we've wanted it done for a long time.
The contract between the two shows that timeline, weather permitting, and that Sear agreed to pay $20,000 up front. But not long after demolition began in mid-November, Sear says she started to notice some red flags.
No materials were delivered. We asked. You know, it's like, they're coming. You know, it was just, you know, that was kind of the very early days. And I'm like, you know, there's no way this is going to get done in 3 weeks at this rate.
Not long after, she says Galvez also claimed he found unexpected rot during demolition and told her it would require more work. Sear says Galvez told her if she paid the next payment of $20,000 early, he'd cover the extra costs himself.
Wasn't comfortable with it, but I did it and I should have known better.
Now $40,000 into the project, Sear claims the work came to a crawl. Text messages show Sear expressed concerns with Galvez about missing materials and the overall lack of progress, including the back of the house being painted the wrong color. In response, she says Galvez gave her this check for $20,000, promising if significant progress wasn't made by the end of the week, she could cash it.
So I said, okay, you know, you're going to get 80% of the work done by Friday. Didn't think it would really happen. I had his check.
But Sear says when the work wasn't complete and she tried to cash it, her bank told her the funds weren't available. That led her to file a police report. An investigation the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says is still ongoing.
He's victimizing people continuously and not being held accountable for it. And it's like, how is that possible?
The I-Team found Sear isn't alone. The Maine Attorney General's office confirms at least 18 consumer complaints against Galvez and his companies, including Tim's Express Decks and Galvez Properties. We also found at least 14 civil cases filed against him in Cumberland County. While some are still open, judges in several others have ordered him to pay back tens of thousands of dollars to plaintiffs. The I-Team contacted Galvez last week after speaking with us off the record for more than an hour and saying he would set up a time for a formal interview. He backed out, but later texted a statement claiming he's closed one of his businesses and is in the middle of dissolving the other. Writing in part, I choose not to answer any question on any of these allegations, claims, etc. by advice of my lawyer. We believe this is not the place to get into these civil matters. With this being said, I want to thank you for your time, and I want you to know I take this situation very seriously, and I am actively hoping and praying for resolution for all parties.
This is happening in every single legislative district in Maine.
In wake of complaints like these, state lawmakers are once again debating a proposal to license home contractors, as Maine remains one of just 6 states with no regulation of the industry.
The vast majority of victims are left with no remedy because the contractors disappear, ignore mediation, or lack the assets to pay damages. Meanwhile, those same bad actors are free to move on to their next victim.
The latest bill would require a license for any contractor working on a project valued at more than $15,000 and create a board to establish education requirements. While it cleared committee on a party line vote earlier this month, one of the state's largest trade groups doesn't believe it will cut down on fraud, saying existing laws are sufficient.
I think one of the biggest problems we have is an access to justice issue. Contract law is sufficient to be able to handle a home construction project or a renovation project, and we believe that those things should be enforced.
And I think the people who are reputable will not have a problem getting a license.
While Sear says Tim Galvez did eventually return half of what she paid him, he never finished the job. She later paid another contractor to fix his work.
So we actually just finished that work. It cost us another 20 grand.
Now she's hoping her story can serve as a warning to others.
I learned my lesson. I'm not just going to, hire somebody blindly, anymore. And it's sad, but it's fact, and it's important.
Well, building or renovating a home is often one of the largest financial investments a consumer makes, and the I-Team is committed to making sure you know your rights. If you scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen, that's where you'll find our consumer guide to know what to know before hiring a contractor. And we hope you'll join us tomorrow night here at 6 for a special contractor conflict town hall. We'll be bringing together stakeholders from the industry as well as policymakers to discuss the ongoing debate about regulations and consumer protections. For the I-Team, I'm Dan Lamparello. Marissa?
Dan, thank you. And don't forget, our I-Team always on your side, working to get answers that matter to you. If you have a story you'd like us to investigate, just call the tip line at 228-7713, or you can email us tips@wgme.com. We do read every tip that comes in.